Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and a game between Evil Genius's Idra against Root Minigun here on Tal'Darim Altar. We have Root Minigun spawning as the red Protoss player. Meanwhile, we have Evil Genius's Idra spawning as the green Zerg. Obviously, Root Minigun part of Team or Root Gaming. If you did not know, back in the day, I think he was actually part of Inflow. Not 100% sure. I'll have to check on that, but I'm pretty sure he was actually part of Inflow. Joined Root when QXC was still a part of Root, and then QXC did leave. So a lot of players trading up and trying to figure out what strategies they want to go for and what teams they want to be represented. Meanwhile, we have a probe already setting up a pylon here on the front door. We'll see if he goes for a forge here first, and then what is going to happen after that. Now, Tal'Darim Altar, one of those maps where you can have very interesting front door plays and cheese plays. Something that we did see in Wednesday night StarCraft. If you guys are wondering what WNS is on my channel, WNS does stand for Wednesday Night StarCraft. Each week, VV Gaming hosts a clan war, and if you want to sign up and you are a part of a clan, just go ahead and check out vvgaming.com, and all the information is there in the forum section, and maybe you can win $100 for your clan. Anyways, we now have Minigun making his way out to the north side. We are going to be getting a forge over here, and we'll see what happens next. We do have an Overlord now making its way down over here, and it will be watching the natural expansion in just a moment, and it looks like we are going for a hatchery here. So it is going to be a hatchery first before a spawning pool or even gas, and we'll see whether Idra will be able to make this pay off dividends. The forge will be completed in just a moment, and Idra, knowing that the probe is nearby, knows that he has to handle this probe, has to have a drone follow the probe. Otherwise, that probe can do very, very nasty tricks, especially with a forge already up and running. We may be getting in a Nexus over here in just a moment. As soon as that Nexus is warped in, that means no cheese play will be coming in from Minigun. Just keep a watch on that production tab as this one probe just plays ring around the mineral patches here. And it looks like the drone just going to keep track of it. Minigun at least forcing one of those drones to not be able to mine and even up the fact that this probe is all the way on this side of the map. We do have one forge here. We are getting another pylon here. There is no spawning pool yet. So pretty much Minigun knows that he has a lot of time before he needs to set up any forge expansion at all. Now, one of the dangers of playing against a Zerg who is two-basing is you don't know if he's really going to power drone off of that second base, or perhaps he's going to do a timing push with a lot of roaches. Both options are very, very viable, and what you need to do on a map like this is you need to keep track as much as possible. Try to stay in your opponent's space as long as you can, and also keep track of these Xel'Naga watchtowers. As soon as you have these Xel'Naga watchtowers, you're able to see if your opponent is in fact trying to make a run for you, and if you can spot that in time, perhaps warp in more sentries, warp in more photon cannons. Those roaches are just going to be butting their head up against a front door wall. But right now, I am talking a little bit too early just because there's not even a roach warren out yet. So we'll see what Evil Genius's Idra does at this stage. Both options are very, very viable. He can try to power drone. It looks like he should be power droning for a little bit of time at least, getting those spawn larva offs. That one queen, for some reason, not making love to that hatchery, finally making love there. You can see those eggs now starting to grow. 4 eggs on each hatchery, giving into a very, very strong economy or very strong army, whatever Idra wants to do. We do have a probe now hiding off over here. Perhaps it's going to sneak back over and try to gain sight as well. No, doing a proxy pylon. So Minigun now setting up a proxy pylon here, but it will be quickly scouted by Idra. Idra now coming over with this drone. And is he actually going to try to set up a third hatchery? That would be a very strange maneuver there. Minigun does not see that a hatchery already coming down, and the Zerglings now poking away at this pylon. Zealots cannot be warping in at all. The Zerglings just taking down a free pylon there as the probe now coming around the corner meets a queen. So yeah, she came around the corner and met the queen. Trying to do a pun off of that, was unable. She'll be coming around the corner when she... Nope. I don't know if a probe actually has a sex, but never. Anyways, never mind. Back over here, with level 1 weapons upgrade not being researched at all, only 1 Zealot and 1 Sentry, as Minigun now trying to go for as many probes as possible. Now, because of this 1 hatchery over here, I would normally think that Idra is trying to get a lot of drones up. He's going to continue to work on that drone count, currently behind 31 to 35, but that's something 1 spawn larva can easily and quickly take a hold of. You can see off of the 4 hatcheries now, he does have 9 larva, so he should be able to power drone in any instant if he wants to, but now currently sitting on down to 6 larva, and we'll see what he does from here. There are Zerglings now right outside that front door. 2 sentries, Minigun able to get those force fields down and prevent the Zerglings from being able to retreat. Oh, and now 1 photon cannon just within range of 1 Zergling. If you ever wondered, that is the exact range of 7. And now those Zerglings are going to decide to back off. We also have the hatchery down over here. It is up and running. Nothing being trained just quite yet. Perhaps we'll get some drones in just a moment and try to saturate 3 bases. The drones are now making the very, very long trek over off into this direction here. And army-wise, we are going into a Twilight Council and 2 additional gateways. So running off of this right now, we have 3 gateways already warping in, a robotics facility and a Twilight Council. This is going to be a 4-gate with a robo and a Twilight Council, so it may be Stalkers with Blink or Zealots with Charge, and Immortals. The Observer also going to most likely be trained up first, as the Observer wants to be able to see what exactly is happening out in the middle of the field. Idra now running off of more bases and also having a stronger economy. It looks like Idra is just slowly power droning his way into the mid-game, as not much action is really going on at this stage. We are now at Tier 2, Glio Reconstitution already being researched. Another 70 seconds or so for completion there, and this may be a timing attack. We may see a lot of roaches coming out in just a moment. He does need a lot more overlords, as well as he's currently supply locked 78 over 78. Down over here, we're going to be seeing more and more roaches trained as well. No creep tumors, though, or not enough of a creep highway to really reach across the field. Idra needs to be very, very careful. You can see 8 roaches now being power drone, sitting at 94 food, and once again going into mass overlords. And I expect the timing on this will be just so that that Missile 1 attack upgrades are going to be completed. More roaches will be making their way out, perhaps somewhere in the 24 range. 24 roaches should be coming out of there in just a moment. You can see a lot of larvae off of those hatcheries there. 13 larvae. And with more and more roaches being added, yeah, there you go, 13 roaches being added with already 15 in the field. It looks like it will be a timing push. Minigun now making his way out. He does have stalkers and sentries, but his army is going to quickly get turned around if he is not very careful, as those roaches will be able to swarm out rather quickly. 17 roaches in production running off of all of these bases. 6 more roaches, and 11 of those roaches have already hatched. 7 more now coming into the field once more, as the stalkers are trying to push their way out, and this is dangerous. Minigun doesn't realize that he is actually going to be walking into a trap. It's a trap. You got to be careful. Those roaches on creep so fast. Before that, the pylon is now warping in, has 25 seconds before reinforcements are going to be coming in. Is Idra going to attack or simply wait for more units? Stalkers are now coming in to engage. The sentries are now trying to retreat. There's the force fields, as the force fields very, very nicely done by Minigun. Minigun trapping half of the roaches down and half of the roaches up, and that's exactly what Minigun needed to do. Minigun now has that proxy pylon in play, and Idra now desperately on the run, but the stalkers with Blink able to get in a lot of damage as well. And we are going to get those creep tumors now cleaned up. Roaches are going to once again try to engage. The sentries are now low on energy, as those roaches are going to be forced to pull back. The stalkers are going to clean up perhaps this hatchery down over here, and an immortal joining in on the fight as well. Idra desperately behind. Those force fields were just absolutely clutch, and I think Minigun is going to take this game here as those roaches continue to push forth. The stalkers are doing that smart blink into the back of the field there, as the Immortal getting just so much burst damage, and there's the customary Idra leaving the game, perhaps very, very mad and frustrated just because of how the game went down. Idra had a stronger economy going into the final battle. He did have a stronger army as well. But once again, early spellcasters, really, really important for Protoss. That Sentry is the only tier 1.5. I wouldn't call him quite tier 2. Tier 1.5 spellcaster in the game. Similar, I guess, to a Ghost. I think a Ghost is a little bit higher up there. It just feels like that at that tech lab. and the Ghost Academy actually requiring gas as opposed to the Salmon X core. But I digress. Getting down those sentries early, getting down that energy, the fact that sentries only take 37 seconds to build in the most recent patch, really helping out Protoss players, as the Protoss player able to get in a lot more sentries as their gateways are still gateways before they change into warp gates. And now getting up into that 150 to a magical 175 energy zone on those sentries, being able to act as defense and then offensively using those sentries as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay and game 1 in this series between Root Minigun and Evil Genius's Idra here on Tal'Darim Altar.